He unlocked a new achievement, the Gay Panic achievement. That's pretty neat. Hello there, friends. Trace amounts of science. ReddX back in it today with some classic Neckbeard stories. We've been digging deep, finding some good old ones that ain't nobody ever heard of, and I'm sort of digging it, you know? Sort of like deep web spelunking, the things that nobody cared about except for me. So, thanks so much for being here. We'll go ahead, get on into this thing, and yeah, again, thanks so much for being here. Fuck. Neckbeard mistakes my femboy boyfriend for a girl. Yeah, I guess is known to happen from time to time. Opie says, this is a shorter story, but I figured it was still worth telling. This is my first making a post like this, so I'm sorry if I make some mistakes. Let's set the scene. I'm a 20-something male with a boyfriend who's a bit more on the feminine side, to say the least. They like wearing skirts, crop tops, thigh highs, other more girly clothing. They have quite the slender physique, so in these clothes, it's quite easy to mistake him for an actual girl. If the title didn't tell you anything else, well, yeah, this is an important detail. I mean, we can't be surprised when you're mistaken for a girl if you have the figure and you're wearing skirts. But, yeah, I'm sure it's going to get really weird shortly. This story takes place around a few months ago. It was the 2-year anniversary since we started dating. Yeah, second anniversary. You don't need to put year in there. We have a couple of rough patches, but the relationship was otherwise very string and full filling. It was full of filling. Delicious pumpkin cream pie filling. I like the typos. It's so human, you know? You just don't get this with the AI slop. To celebrate, we both took the day off from work and had ourselves quite a fun date night. Watched a movie, had some dinner at a good restaurant. It was an Outback Steakhouse, I think. Bloomin' onion. And then ended it with a nice little arcade place that I know. Oh man, barcades? It's like such a cool idea, but actually who's ever going to go and hang out there? I would if we had one close to my house, but it would just be me hanging out there and a bunch of kids. It'd be weird. I think I'll find like the dudes who are around playing Galaga in the 80s and shit. But they're all dying off now or have better things to do. So sad how time moves forward. Now it's just like Fortnite kids. Got fucking Fortnite kids everywhere. My own kids are Fortnite kids. But I got pretty good at Fortnite. Anyway, what did I talk about? The bar, yeah. It was one of those places where it had a bunch of arcade machines from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. Yes! That's what I'm talking about! It's where you paid a little fee and you could play a library of machines for as long as you liked. Oh, so they emulate their shit. Yeah, that's not as magical to me, honestly. I want pinball, something tactile. We probably spent more time in the fighting games section than we should have, and we decided to take a break. I would go over to the small concession stand / bar that they had in the corner of this retro arcade and order 2 drinks. Now, is it a retro arcade or is it a bar? Or is it a barcade? Because I think these are all very different things and we're just mixing a bunch of stuff OP likes together. Nothing too potent or heavy, of course, just some fruity drink with vodka mixed into it. As I waited, I turned my back over to where my boyfriend was, doing a rest play session at a Galaga machine. Dude, I was just talking about Galaga, what? That's wild. In the corner of my eye, I could spot quite the specimen of a human being and the tragic villain of this story. I mean, honestly, it's probably not as tragic as you think. It's often quite fraught with humor, you see. He was a 30-something-year-old guy with quite the large gut, some F-cup-sized moobs that flopped as he walked, greasy hair, and even a signature neck beard. All we're missing is the fedora. He came in there wearing a katana. I don't know if I fully believe it, but it's hilarious to me, so keep going. He wore some jeans that were too tight for him, and some dirty t-shirt that had Mario on it. Yeah, Mario just looking like he had the worst time ever on the N64 start screen, you know? Where you could stretch his face all around. If he had a fedora, he would have been the masterpiece of this stereotype. You should buy him one. I knew what a neckbeard was. I was too familiar with them back in my Magic the Gathering days. Oh, so yeah, a run-in or two That'll do it. I mean, yeah, you like nerd shit. It's gonna happen from time to time. I may have laughed as this modern art masterpiece hobbled across the arcade floor, but I quickly noticed that he was making a beeline toward my boyfriend, who was still playing Galaga, none the wiser of an IRL Bowser coming over to claim what he probably saw as his Princess Peach. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's like, yeah, I came here to be lecherous. Can we have a good time? You know, not in the way you want to have a good time, but just treat people like people for a second and see how it feels. Oh, he probably hates it. Anyway, my boyfriend this night was wearing his best stuff. He particularly likes the goth/punk aesthetic, and he was really gothed out. We're talking fishnet leggings and gloves, a black skirt that hung above his knees, big black spiky boots, and black lipstick and eyeliner. An absolute goddess to this greaseball. Go figure, he locked his beady little eyes on him specifically. I mean, how many other chicks were there in there? Probably zero, yeah. There's just one that dresses like a girl. It is what it is, you know? He shot his shot, and he's probably going to be absolutely devastated once he finds out. All his dreams are going to come crashing down, and I'm going to slurp up his delicious greasy tears. So my drinks were given to me, and I grabbed them and quickly made my way over, fearing of what I probably knew was going to happen. Sadly, he got there faster than I could, which was a feat for him in and of itself. He was quite quick to show his intentions, too, placing his greasy man-baby hands on my boyfriend's hip before even saying a word to him. That's about the worst thing that you could have done there, fella. Yes, let me make physical contact immediately. Oh, well, you're a creep. There ain't no two ways about it, as far as I could tell. My boyfriend, of course, was not aware of his presence until this happened, and he understandably jumped back and looked at this beard with very visible horror and disgust, wrenching the beard's hand off of him. Punch him! Punch him! Why didn't you punch him? I was more than pissed at this point, and boyfriend definitely was too. However, I restrained myself from making a bigger scene, as anyone else in my situation would have. Why, you ask? Because I know my boyfriend very well, and I knew all too well that he could handle this situation himself. Yes, do it in your own way. While he was more on the feminine side, he was not a pushover. Far from it. He was a particularly spicy boy when it came to things like this, too. So calming myself, I placed his drink on a table next to me and started sipping mine and watched the show. I can't remember exactly how the conversation went, but it was a little something like this. Boyfriend, what the fuck, dude? Beard, taken aback by his righteous anger. Forgive me, m'lady. I couldn't help but notice you across the room, and you're so resonating. What the fuck? You picked an adjective out of a hat, didn't you? It was a fedora. That's where his fedora went. It's filled with adjectives. Oh god, he actually said m'lady, unironically. Was this even real, boyfriend? So, you touched me? That's fucking creepy. Beard, I'm sorry, but I couldn't help myself. You're just so beautiful, and you also like video games. I never knew that someone like you could exist. I mean, yes, but also no. Boyfriend says, yes, exist, but not for you. So get the hell away from me, creep. Beard, I'm afraid I can't do that, m'lady. Oh, well, this is how it's gonna be then. Okay. OP says, you can't leave him alone. Why the hell not? This went from funny to now a little intense, but yeah, I still knew my boyfriend could handle it. Boyfriend, you can't leave me alone? Why the fuck not? Beard made some stupid attempt at the eyes of seduction, and what I could guess was supposed to be a smolder. Yeah, he hasn't practiced his smoldering. If he was practicing his smoldering enough, he'd know he'd have to brush his teeth. The beard says, destiny! I decide to jump in now, having finished my drink. Dude, what the fuck? It was a shot, wasn't it? I thought you were sipping gin tonic something. Nope. Boyfriend obviously still had control of the situation, but I decided that this was the best time to mess with the beard and also horrify him, as he clearly didn't realize that the girl he groped and was pathetically flirting with was in fact an individual with a ding-dong, and one probably twice the size of the beard's at that. I mean, nobody's keeping count, especially of that guy's. My boyfriend was still putting on his feminine voice too, so the beard had absolutely no idea. I walked over to my boyfriend, wrapped my arm around his shoulder, and handed him his drink. He sighed with relief at the sight of me, immediately chugging his fruity vodka. OP, hey, what's going on? I looked at the beard, pretending to be completely unaware of the situation. I could have blown up on him or given him a death glare, but I decided to just mess with him for the punchline to this oh-so-long joke. I'm glad you got in there to participate. This is going to be some absolute mayhem, I'm sure. The beard says, I was just talking to the lady. Who the hell are you? He was visibly angry at the sight of me. Competition for an already losing game. How dare I stop him from harassing the milady? OP says I'm his boyfriend. I said this with the biggest smile I could muster. Beard, his? Don't you mean her? I looked to boyfriend. He instantly realized what I was doing and that he himself nearly forgot in the moment. A giant smirk ran across their lips, and he gave me a nod. The grand finale was now to commence. OP says, now you heard me right. I'm his boyfriend, and he's mine. What about it? The transition from anger to horror was as masterfully transitioned on his face as the end of a Greek tragedy. Whatever greasy erection he was having before instantly went flaccid. Yeah, nobody could tell because it's hidden by his belly, essentially. So it's probably true. I don't need to see it to prove that it's true. It's true enough already. The beard says, You're joking. OP says, I don't think I am. Do you see me laughing? Boyfriend? Yeah, I do have a ding-dong, he said, dropping his girly voice into his natural one. Something still relatively high-pitched and feminine-like, but noticeably male. Beard was deeply horrified. He took a couple steps back, unsure what to do now. I mean, come to terms with something new about yourself, I guess. OP says, congratulations, my friend. And boyfriend says, you're gay! Through the transitive property, yes, I suppose. He was stricken with such horror and confusion, the beard said nothing more and dashed out of the arcade. Hearing the clunk of him shutting the door on the way out, me and my boyfriend burst into laughter. The rest of the night was pretty great, and we fondly look back at that moment to this day. We never saw Beard again, and that's probably for the best. I hope you enjoyed my little story with how insane the whole situation was, but I'm pretty sure it's tame compared to a lot of stuff on here. Yeah, some of these stories definitely do sink down to the darkest depths, you know. But this, I don't know, some people find cross-dressers like insanely weird, so whatever. It's a mixed bag, alright? Just like anywhere you go. So you gotta kind of get used to that part. As far as, dude, yeah, discovering something new about himself, I'm glad. Honestly.
He thought he'd find Goth Elven Princess, he'd find Final Boss Gubbins.
He rolled a nat 1 on perception, a nat 1 on consent, and a nat 1 on dignity. Dark Gubbins.
And the best thing of all is that, yeah, he unlocked a new achievement. The Gay Panic achievement. That's pretty neat. Congratulations. He's like, oh no, I have to accept this part about myself. Like, yeah, it's not gay to accept that a man can look nice in a good pair of jeans. Anyway, we're going to move on into another story, because this one was quite greasy and delicious. And we have only yet begun to plunge the depths. This story titled, I Think My Baby Brother is a Neckbeard. No, I mean, maybe like an older human, not a baby. Babies haven't been corrupted by the world yet. Long-time lurker, first-time poster, so bear with me. I'm pretty sure that my little brother's a neckbeard. I currently am 23-year-old woman, and my brother's 21. Oh good, not a baby. He's still living at home with my parents. I mean, 21, I used to frown upon it because I got fucking booted out at 18, but I'm not bitter or anything. I do understand that a lot of people have to live this way, though. And it's unfortunate. I'm sure they'd do better if they could. Get up and out if you can, but shit, you gotta start from where you start. I know that. Yeah, 21, still living at home with my parents. When we were younger, I tried to steer my brother toward the art of all things nerdy and video game related, which he took to with great stride. You ruined him. You ruined him, you know that. I did a good job of keeping him under my wing and teaching him the mighty powers of nerddom without becoming one of the dark, twisted, bearded ones. Well, that's fair enough, yeah. I steer people from the path if I'm able, but sometimes, yeah, people choose their own path. You can't help people who don't need help or something. I started noticing my brother's decline. Not need help, want help. You lead a horse to water or some shit. I started noticing my brother's decline into madness when I was home about 2 years ago. It started off innocent enough with him watching Attack on Titan and Death Note, things that I suggested to him. It was only after this that I learned of his new obsession, ponies. Oh, not ponies.
So, what's everyone playing today?
I'm playing my Twilight Sparkle deck today.
What is it? Is it, like, good or something?
No,
Don't ask that.
This is my commander, Twilight Sparkle. If I have every main pony when I activate her ability, then every pony wins the game.
Oh.
And the best part about her,
She's my dirty little...
My Little Pony became his new drug of choice, and he couldn't get enough. My parents begging me to take him up to this convention in Washington so we could go and meet all the other bronies. Yeah, and fucking prance around in a field together sounds like a hoot! What a hoot nanny! I should have told them no, right then and there. Yeah, but then you wouldn't have the story. I escaped with my sanity intact and retreated for several months to my own home on the coast. His neckbearding only got worse from there, and my brother refused to get a job and started reminding my parents that he is anonymous. Cringy shit like that. Bro, this is really going off the deep end. That's when my parents started begging me to take him on the weekends, since he was literally terrorizing my mother, who has epilepsy. Naturally, I agreed, and that's when I realized that I might be too late. I don't know, man. I've seen terminal cases like come back from the brink, you know. Miracles do happen, but yeah, he's gotta want it. Right now, he has no reason to want it. He's comfy with mommy and daddy. Brother's not your typical neckbeard, you know. He's scrawny with a sunken chest and pale skin from being inside on his computer all day. Relatable. But when he came to stay with me for a few weeks, I saw that everywhere he went, he wore the dreaded fedora. I coaxed him to take it off when we went to the store or out to eat or to the bars with my friends, but he refused in all instances. Finally, I departed my current home and moved about 6,000 miles away. I mean, you did what you could. I advise you to change that shit up, but also, whatever. It's your life. Fuck it up how you want. And he's doing a number on himself, isn't he? I then spent about a year away from family, but I kept in close contact with my mother, and she told me that my brother's anime obsession turned from innocent shows to a video game about battleships who were actually Japanese girls with rather large chests. I think we've talked about that one before. I can't remember for the life of me what it's called. The comments will let me know. It's so funny. She asked me how to talk to him about it, but at this point, even I, in my great nerdiness, did not know how to approach him. Yeah, he took this thing that you liked and went way off the fucking deep end with it. I don't know how you reel it back. So when I went home for Christmas, I took my brother out to dinner, and we got onto the subject of tattoos. When I asked him what he wanted, he proudly announced, "I want the name of a Japanese World War II battleship and Japanese characters on my arm." Well, I nearly dropped my spoon. I am a proud active duty Coast Guardsman, and while I have nothing against Japan and its culture, I knew exactly why he wanted this tattoo. Yeah, we all know it has nothing to do with the actual ship. It's just the name of that weird woman battleship that he's in love with. Can't you see you're only hurting yourself? Your prospects, all the things you ever dreamed of are never gonna happen because of a battleship girl? God, fucking get it together! It was that damned video game that my mother had warned me about. See, now you understand old man energy. Shaking fist. Damn clouds, stay away from my house! I was silently cringing, and I told my brother that it may not be the best tattoo idea, and that I would help him pick out a new one if he wanted my help. He deflated slightly, and then words came out of his mouth that I thought he would never utter. Hey, you're just jealous, because my tattoo idea is so much better than yours. Get off my dog! That's right, ladies and germs. My brother just told me to get off of his dong. Yeah, I hate that real good. I don't know if he meant it in the way, but it comes across real bad. It's not a good look. I quickly paid the bill and we walked home. The next day I told my mom what he had said, and she berated him for saying those things to me, but he merely ignored her. She then told me that she had caught him jerking to an anime site about a month earlier to little girls that had massive knockers. I mean, oh God, I'm not gonna go here. At all. Ever. You count me out, motherfuckers! Opie says, I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my brother and best friend to the gentle fat folds of neckbeardness. How do I drag him out of it and make my little brother again? Again, you can't really do it for somebody. He's gonna need to come to these realizations on his own, and time is of the essence, but you can't pull somebody out of it. I give all sorts of advice to my siblings. Nobody ever listens. Who gives a shit? People make their own choices. So good. It's your life. Just fuck it up however you want, okay? Try your best, but probably it's not going to go how you thought. And you got to learn to just let the wave wash over you. Not feel too much about it. It's all a bunch of bullshit anyways, isn't it? And Lord knows, you know, the sister did try her best, but I don't know. You just can't save them. That's what I've learned.
You tried, sister. But sometimes the cringe chooses them. Fret not, for when he lays down to rot, his body will be well tended by the roaches and crickets.
Jesus.
Dark gubbins.
Dark gubbins, wow, you scare the shit out of me sometimes, you know that, bro? We probably got time for another story, so let's whoop one up in here, huh? This one, titled, Be Mindful of Neckbeards Online. Yes, they're all around you. Opie says, I've been watching a lot of Reddit videos these days to pass the times during the plague. Oh, you remember the plague times, guys? That was kind of cool. I found the subreddit through Tim Tam Tom. This is my first time using the website, and I honestly didn't think I ever would, but I think it's important to share my story. Most neckbeards are just annoying or horned up or rude and fun to laugh at when all is said and done. My experience went a bit differently, however. TLDR at the bottom, this might be a long one, folks. Yeah, don't worry about me. I'm all strapped in. Let's fucking go. This story happened when I was in 7th to 9th grade. I'm 25 now, at a rather tumultuous time in my life. There were parents' addictions and cheating and divorce, moving from a big city to a small town, and bullying galore, and needless to say, I was in desperate need of some sort of escape. Late in 7th grade, I found anime. Yeah, you and everybody else, I guess. It's some rather fine escapism, isn't it? It was the perfect way to distract myself from everything that was happening. Fantasy worlds, cool characters, romance, stories. It had everything that I loved, so I immersed myself in that life. Yeah, I'm about this anime life, son. I spent most of my free time watching the stuff and learning more and more about the process, and eventually stumbling upon the voice actor and convention scene. Of course, I found myself drawn to one voice actor in particular, and as such, I found his fandom website online. I joined, and soon I was talking with other fans, expressing excitement about our favorite shows, and eventually becoming very close with a lot of them. I mean, that's good. Here's a thing that we all enjoy together, but there's always going to be some bad apples that spoil the bunch, you know? And OP says as such. Enter Neckbeard1, we'll call him B, which is for beard. I had my Skype call with Beard and a huge group of fans 3 months or so after joining the fan club. It was chaotic and I was more than a little intimidated. Beard took the time to calm me down and talk to me and reassure me that I was liked and included. I'm sure that might have been reassuring in the moment, but yeah, there's a deeper subtext to it, isn't it? Very quickly, I took a liking to him. He was an aspiring voice actor, and to be fair, he was fairly good. He was a short, chubby, kind of neckbeardy dude, but to me, he seemed kind and harmless. No, that's his whole getup. Don't let him in! Nothing more than a guy obsessed with anime and willing to be my friend. Something that I really lacked in the real world. Someone finally noticed me and thought that I was worthy and cool. God damn, it's like they could just smell the lack of self-esteem and they take full advantage. How do they do that and why? Here's the problem though. I was 13 to 14 and he was 22. See, so I guess that's why not the self-esteem, because literal child predator. Great. Awesome. Boots! Now! Eventually we carved out a little Skype group. It was me, child predator, me, literal child predator, and if how many times can I say child predator before I get demonetized? Jesus. A few other people, also my age or a little older, were there. I don't talk to them anymore, but I really did become close to most of them. We called each other siblings, sometimes talking more than 12 hours a day for over a year. That is a lot of time invested. That's the time you can only invest when you're a little kid with any shit else going on. They helped me get through a lot, even though I was an extremely unhealthy person. They were my glue for a long time. Again, I'm not sure it's the healthiest way to deal with it, but we all get through. That's what I know. Looking back, I feel sick now. Beard was, well, simply put, he was horned up. Every few months or so, he'd be in love with one of the girls in the group, cycling through us like water in a mill. Most of us underage, and we were young and naive, so we didn't even consider that it might be a problem. Luckily, none of us ever gave in to him specifically, but that didn't mean that I was completely safe. Nobody's safe. This is horrible. Get out now! Enter Neckbeard number 2. We'll call him S for Scumbag. Scumbag was Beard's IRL friend who joined the group a few months in, and he was also 22 years of age. He's bringing his predator friends in here like a little honeypot. Oh, God. Does the voice actor know this is going on? Can we tell him? This is being done in his name. I would take all of you. I'll make sure you go to jail for years. If not, street justice. So Scumbag was funny and charismatic and just an all-around nice guy. One night, I went to him in tears, my self-esteem so low you could blow a hole right through it. And Scumbag talked me down, saying stuff like, I'd never hurt you. You're so worth it in my eyes. You're beautiful. Yes, literal child. What are you trying to do right now? I know what you're trying to do right now. You don't have to answer. I've already got the bullet in the chamber. Opie says, I fell right into his trap, and a day later, we were quote-unquote dating. God, I hate this. Oh my God. Whenever these stories come about, it gets rather heavy in the comment sections. Like, why would you plow through something like that? Because it does happen and it needs to be talked about. I'll try to treat it with the respect that it deserves, but holy shit, man. It's like the most enraging thing ever. Okay. OP says, I was so desperate for someone to love me that I let this guy manipulate me and mold me until eventually I was doing everything for him. He was the most important person to me, and yes, that also meant intimate things as well. Toward the end of our relationship, we discussed meeting up IRL at an anime convention. Holy shit, no, don't! He demanded that we meet in his hotel room. God, dude, what? Fuck! I hate it. He'd have flavored jellies ready for us, he said. We'd have a hot night, he said. I was still only 14. Can we put a bullet, like, through this person? Not even, but like a railroad spike. That's the only thing that'll do. That's the only thing blunt enough. I'm so sorry you went through it. You didn't go to the convention, right? Please? Please? I hope he says, when my plans for the convention fell through. Oh, hallelujah! He was enraged. I'm sure he was, for all the wrong reasons. I don't get to take advantage of a child at this convention. Why don't you fucking dig yourself a hole and lay down in it, okay? He demanded that he drive down to my house and rescue me from my evil stepmother who would dare to keep me there. And I told him no, I couldn't do that. He insisted, and I kept telling him no. Oh my god. He's not gonna come, is he? Somebody call Chris Hansen real quick. Intercept this shit. And then, as suddenly as he had come into my life, he cut me off completely. Oh, thank God. Sweet mercy! If we couldn't meet up for doing it, then there was no point. I was devastated, crushed, and I couldn't help thinking like it was all my fault. Later, I found out he'd been cheating on his girlfriend that he'd had since the beginning with me, and I was really nothing more than some type of proclivity to him. Yes, a very illegal proclivity that I would like to see him executed in the streets over. Just to be clear. Opie says, I reiterate, I was 14, he was 22. If I'd gone to that convention or let him come to me, I would have been more than just that. I would have been a victim. Why hadn't Beard stopped him? Why hadn't any of the others stopped him? I think about it almost every day, even today. Neckbeards and nice guys can be dangerous. Please take care of yourself on the internet. You're worth more than you know. Be your own savior. God damn, dude. That really did almost get heavy. I was breaking up for a second there. I felt my heart welling and my voice cracking, and I'm like, please don't let no bad happen. Nope, he survived, obviously, but yeah, you're gonna carry around the scars forever of what this creep did. Luckily, he didn't manage to go the full 9 with it or whatever he was planning. That might have been like, you know, you ending up in a suitcase in the river. Like, this could have been terrible. If you got a name and an address, delivered to ReddX Industries, and we'll be sure to take care of it. I do appreciate you.
That's it. I've had enough. Gubbin's gonna crack a dome over this one, Gubbins.
Careful, brother. The line between justice and war crime is thin and... Oh no. He's doing it. Dark Gubbins.
This one ain't getting a snarky comment. This one getting the rock.
Oh my god, dude, what the hell is that? You can't bring that in here! Oh no!
There go the lights. And the desk.
Great.
And the last of our Patreon tier rewards.
Well, I hope some more people will sign up, okay? I appreciate you. Always remember you're loved, you're worthy. Even if you did just destroy my office, you definitely deserve it. And I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.
何バカ